Hi, I'm Bella Perez Rubio, Puma Podcast, and you're listening to Teka Teka News. In today's episode,
Alam ko naman po, greener pasture, naintindihan naman po namin yon. Yun nga lang po, baka po dahan-dahan mawala ang liga, ang PBA.
PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall sounds the alarm over what he and other officials describe as the poaching of our local basketball players by overseas leagues. But instead of gaining sympathy, the fans turned on them. Here's why. What officials mean by poaching is actually just players choosing to play for foreign leagues for better pay and more opportunities. How much better pay? Listen to PBA Commissioner Marshall speaking to Senator Joa Villanueva at a hearing on September 12.
Gaano kalaki yung difference ng salary nila? I'm sure, kung hindi man doble. Kasi at the end of the day, we cannot expect our players not to go abroad.
Times 3 po ang binibigay. Minimum po yun, minimum. Yun po pinakamababa na binibigay ng ibang liga.
I mean, if 100,000 sinusweldo ng isang PBA player, 300,000 doon. Minimum.
Industry sources told Rappler that Japan's B-League imports make between $10,000 to $50,000 a month.
At the end of the day, kahit na anong gawin natin, hindi natin mapipigilan yung ating mga kababayan, mga ibang bansa, for greener pasture. In fact, there are about 3,000, 4,000 Filipinos go abroad before the pandemic every single day.
In short, it's hard for local corporations to match these salaries. And it's not just the PBA that's losing players to foreign leagues.
I think what my concern are the that's happening in the collegiate level. May nangyari na po yan sa Ateneo. Ayun po yung magiging bigger issue. We're losing collegiate players.
That's Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas or SBP President Al Panlilio speaking at the same Senate hearing.
One particular case is SJ Bilangel of Ateneo. He didn't finish his last year. He went to Korea. Of course, Lloyd Ramos was supposed to play for Ateneo, but never did. That went straight to Japan. Although I think Dwight, for example, has committed to the national program. I'm just raising the issue that the professional league that's being poached, but also your collegiate leagues, now.
Other marquee names that the PBA has lost to foreign leagues include Kiefer Ravenna and Ray Parks. A few days after that hearing, a large delegation of PBA officials flew to Japan to meet their B-League counterparts. The group was led by Marshall and PBA chairman Ricky Vargas, who raised the talent drain issue. In a statement after the meeting, Vargas said, quote, "Recent events whereby our players accepted offers to play in Japan have hurt not only our league, but our national team training development as well. If we continue this way of engaging Philippine players without prior clearance from our league, it may sadly blemish our friendship." End quote. That was quickly met with backlash. Greg Slaughter, a former PBA player who now plays for the B-League, blasted the statement on Twitter, calling it quote-unquote, total BS and crab mentality at its highest. He added,
"The PBA slammed the door on me and my family days before my daughter was born. I played 7 years and publicly made myself available to the national team. Respect the true ethics of the game of basketball and fair competition."
Pinoy players, their agents, and analysts have long made the case that homegrown talent being showcased on the world stage could be good for Filipino basketball. But that's if officials are willing to adapt and innovate rather than hold players back. You can learn more about this by listening to a Teka Teka Explains episode titled "Globalization is an Opportunity, Not a Threat" for PH Basketball. But anyway, fans say recent events have shown that our national leagues are stuck in their old ways.
In addition, I think from the perspective of the PSC, I think we can look at ways to ensure that there is an agreement with other jurisdictions. These are the linkages that we were talking about. Na sana ho naman magkaroon ng parang quota system lang na hindi naman ho tayo dumadagsa ang paglabas ng atleta.
That's Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Nolly Iyala.
In addition to that, of course, is the very strict requirement, dapat sila payagang maglaro sa ating national team ho. I think that is really the main concern. Hindi bali ho siguro magtrabaho sa labas, pero kung sila ho ay merong provision sa kanilang mga kontrata, and I think again that is part of the diplomacy, na sila ho ay dapat payagang maglaro sa ating national team when called upon by our federations. I think that is something that we can certainly welcome, and I think the Philippine Olympic Committee is the one that will really help us in that sense.
The issue blew up over the weekend when Gilas player Will Navarro was prevented from playing for Seoul Samsung in the Korean Basketball League. Because Will has an existing contract with Northport Batang Pier, he needed clearance from the SBP to play for another league. He hasn't had that much playtime in the last 3 years, which makes his desire to go elsewhere understandable. But in its letter, the SBP said, quote, "The SBP respects players' rights to look for greener pastures, but players also need to respect agreements they have entered into with their teams," end quote. That didn't sit well with Will's fellow Gilas players. Kai Soto, who plays for the Australian National League in Adelaide, took to social media saying,
"I'm sorry, but this is crazy. This has to stop. You got players who've been working hard and dreaming to play basketball at the highest level they can reach, and we got our own people stopping us from achieving greatness."
SJ Belangel, a Korean Basketball League import, chimed in last night, tweeting,
"Always remember that we are still repping the Filipino flag no matter where we play. We chose to play internationally not because we hate Philippine basketball, but because we are here to pursue every athlete's dream to reach our fullest potential and even go beyond our dreams."
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. Again, I'm Bella Perez Rubio. This episode was produced by Kat Ventura and edited by Presh Capistrano. Again, if you want to learn more about this topic, go to our Teka Teka Explains channel and look up this episode titled "Globalization is an Opportunity, Not a Threat for PH Basketball." If you like this episode, give it a 5-star rating on your podcast app. It really helps get the word out about our show. Thanks for listening.